Hello and welcome to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I'll be ranking every oath based on two categories, usability and aesthetic. A lot of people didn't like or even understand that my last ranking was not being based on usage and PvP or PvE meta. The last tier list I did on legendary weapons was based on how well they were implemented into the game with lore, the update, and, quests and bosses, right? So in today's video I'll be ranking both based on that and also how well that it is used in either PvP or PvE depending on what it's best for. Make sure to subscribe since only about 20% of the people watching right now are actually subscribed. Now let's get straight into it. First of all is going to be Oathless, and Oathless is kind of mid on both fronts. It's generally viable on any non-PvE build, but it does have the added advantage of oath damage resistance, soft countering most of the PvP based oaths, while also, having no requirement is always good. As far as implementation and aesthetic, it's a B tier. The quest is cool, but it's not really special. The oath itself is cool lore, not wanting to be chained down by a master and only serving yourself is cool. And as far as usage goes, it's also around high B tier. It's always usable, and not having a stat requirement is good, and it's decent, and soft counters all the oaths like I said, but it's nothing special. It might even be A tier though, because there are some questionable oaths on this list. Next up is Arc Warder. Aesthetically, the Arc suit is terribly ugly, one of the worst pieces of drip in the game, so I can't really praise it from an aesthetic standpoint. The implementation and lore are on point though, so Arc Warder from this standpoint as a whole is still B tier. Would be higher if the suit was better looking or more customizable. As for usage, the Arc suit isn't bad. Having guard break protection and all the other benefits of the suit are good. The only thing I don't like about it is the dual attunement requirement, so most people end up running the Storm's Eye on it, or just going full mage with a hero blade. Overall, usage is going to be A tier, but I kinda want to rank it lower because it promotes really lame gameplay. Next up is Salt Chemist. Aesthetically, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not terrible, I mean. The vials on your arm are kinda ugly and make you look like one of those heroin addicts on life support, but it's not the worst thing in the observable universe. The oath itself is also really well implemented and creatively designed. With the auto brew system and such, it's actually kinda cool. So aesthetically, this is going to be landing in my B or C tier. It would be higher if the needles were less ugly. As for the oath itself, it's really not that good. Yeah, it's meant for support builds, but there's a better support oath coming up soon anyway, and that one doesn't have a 75 intelligence stat requirement. So this is going into the D tier for usability. Also, potion builds are kind of just boring if you're using them for PvP. Next up is Jet Striker. Aesthetically, nothing really special. The implementation is good, and I like the dynamic the player has with Illyrian as well as the quest. The oath ankle win things are a little bit ugly though, so aesthetically Jet Striker is going to be getting a B tier because it's not really anything special. Usage is a completely different story though, because Jet Striker is really good. Its mantras are really good, being 1, a great unpunishable teleport, being Jet Kick, and 2, Fake Strike, which just confirms a free hit lots of the time. Jet Striker's passives, while not usable in Chime, are still great mobility. This is going to be our first S tier oath for usability. And next up is Chain Warden. Chain Warden is really cool from an aesthetic standpoint. The entire lore bits about it being used by the Central Authority enforcers to punish people is awesome, and the chains around your body are better looking than most oath cosmetics and can really make certain builds pop. Aesthetically, Chain Warden is going into our S tier. It looks great, was implemented well in the lore, and it's pretty cool. As for usability, it's also really good. It has good combo extenders, ranged pressure options, and it stuns way too much. S tier for usability as well. I actually love Chain Warden, just not fighting it. Next up is Link Strider, and I don't even want to talk about the aesthetics of this one. Its cosmetic is ugly. The lore isn't even complete because they fired the guy writing it. So you have an incomplete oath as far as implementation goes, a mid quest, and the second ugliest oath cosmetic in the entire game. F tier as far as aesthetics concerned. As for usability, it's the better support oath in comparison to Salt Chemist, but it's kind of too bad support oaths still aren't all that great, because why run a support build when you could just get good at the game and do more by, running a PvP build? C tier. Blind Seer, one of the oldest oaths in the game, and it's actually not half bad. It's meant to be the PvE oath, but it's kind of badly outclassed by another one. I'm sure most of you PvE players know which one. Now, Blind Seer isn't bad for PvE either. Tranquil Circle giving 10% damage resistance against mobs is really good, and then Sightless Beam can do a lot of PvE damage. You can also heal allies, so if you're not playing solo PvE, this is actually the best oath for running Heart of Enmity, because PvE semi-support builds are really good with this because you can heal people, and you're still doing a ton of damage. In Tranquil Circle, it's a great PvE support oath. So if you have a team, this is an S tier PvE oath. Aesthetically, it's also pretty cool, so A tier for aesthetics. But if you're making a solo support build, I'm sure you're going going the next oath, which is Dawnwalker. This is cool, the implementation is well done, and the quest was made for layer 2, so it's not necessarily bad, but it's not super good. The moon's eye above your head is alright and can be good on some outfits, so I'll just give it an A tier for aesthetics, but you could argue for B tier. As for usage, this oath is the most versatile oath in the entire game. It's good in PvP, with Radiant Kick and Radiant Dawn being two good PvP moves, specifically Radiant Kick being a hard carry, and it soft counters Shadowcast users with its passives that make you do more damage after being hit with Shadow Mantras, which is always a plus because we hate Shadow users over here. But this is also the best solo PvE oath in the entire game, and it's literally carried by one mantra. Blinding Dawn is the best PvE mantra in the game. It's literally just a super high damaging massive AoE that drops most monsters really easily. And did I mention it also has no stat requirement, so it has just as much versatility as Oathless or anything else. This is an S tier oath for usability. Next up is Contractor. Aesthetics wise, this is just too edgy for me. The lore also just seems like it was written by an edgy 12-year-old, I'm not gonna lie, so it's not gonna be going that high. The puppet strings you get as well are kinda ugly. They can work and they die pretty well, surprisingly, since it only dies like around the edges instead of making like the black orange. That would be ugly. But this is going to be in a C tier for aesthetic purposes. I personally don't like it. I guess you could argue for a higher tier, but I don't like it. Sadly, the oath is actually good and has no requirements, making it versatile in PvP, but it's normally ran in shadow builds. I don't know why, you don't need a shadow build, but it's always seen with them. I don't really want to talk about Contractor, not gonna lie. Like, they have a good counter that Judgment's just a good move, and it kind of forces vents if you don't parry it. A tier for usability. Soulbreaker is next. F tier for aesthetics. The cosmetic that comes with Soulbreaker is the ugliest thing in the entire game, undisputably. Sadly, the oath is actually pretty decent. It has 2 distance closures, 1 range pressure option, and then as a whole, it's cool to have all the murmurs. So, A tier for usability. Next up is going to be Fade Trimmer. This is just the best oath in the entire game. S tier for aesthetics because infinite cuts is literally infinite aesthetics. If you can have every and any haircut at all times, it means you can always have the best haircut, which means you have the best aesthetic haircut all the time. So S tier. And then S tier for usability because its second move just one-shots people. No, this thing's actually a joke oath. Surprisingly, Precision Cuts is actually a half-decent mantra though. Realistically, you shouldn't be running this though, and I'd actually rather have Oathless over it, but if you like Fade Trimmer, then you like Fade Trimmer. Next is going to be Blade Harper. First of all, the quest and lore of this oath are just Bleach. They're basically completely rich from Bleach, just being like Bankai or Shikai obtainment, and that's all it is, right? The lore and quests are quite uncreative, and the snakes around your arms are quite ugly, so this will be going into a C tier for aesthetics. But as for usability, you get Flash Step, which is cool. The moves are actually pretty creative, and the kit is both well done and quite good. I want to say B tier for Bleach, but realistically, Blade Harper's probably an A tier, and you could maybe even argue for S with certain builds. Star Kindred is next, and aesthetically, it's not that good. The neck halo is trash. The wings are cool though, so I guess let's just average that out to a B in the aesthetics department. The oath itself isn't that great though. The Fireblade variants are alright. Sadly, the big cool flamethrower is worse than normal Fireblade, so most people just run Reversal Spark because it's better. The upgrade is worse. The rest of the mantras are kind of just alright. Like, I mean, they're not amazing, but I guess you have one pressure tool that doesn't get you punished if they parry it, so overall a B tier for usability. Next up is Silent Heart, and god do I hate this oath's aesthetic. The lore is alright if not a bit edgy, but the markings are kinda ugly and everyone runs the same drip on this every time. They literally just wear nothing, or they use that one shirtless, the monk like fighting champion armor, and then they just use shirtless and then they dye the markings. It's just gonna be a D tier for the aesthetics. Now as far as use goes, sadly it's good, and I hate that it's good because it's just so lame from every possible perspective. Even after the rework with all the weapon switching stuff, none of it matters. Just spam ankle cutter and bait for the whole fight. And the worst part is it's still usable. And I'm gonna put it in B tier, which might seem a little bit low to some of you, but I just don't think it's better than any given mage or regular build most of the time. It's kind of just like for people that don't want to learn too much stuff. Next up is Saint Sworn. This is the mage oath, so obviously it's not fun. Regardless, it is ugly. Having a bunch of hero blades floating around you is not the best looking, and the lore kind of just doesn't mean anything of depth or value, so I'm going to be putting Saint Sworn in the D tier for aesthetics. The oath itself is perfectly suited for mage builds though. First of all, it gives 5 mantra slots, which is insane, especially because usually Saint Sworn runs, you know, multiple attunements if you want to go there. And while the oath only has 1 mantra, it changes entirely depending on which hero's blade stance you use with the Saint Blade. So, you know, it's kind of stupid. This oath was broken on release but has been toned down quite a bit, and it's not bad to fight anymore. It's going into B tier for usability and viability, but I want to put it in F because I hate mages and want to see less people running this, but realistically it's sadly not bad. And our final oath is Vision Shaper. The oath's lore is cool, the quest is cool, the characters involving it are cool, and the eye tracer thing is cool. It is one of the best aesthetics oaths in the game, landing it into the S tier aesthetically. It's simple and good. As for viability and usability, sadly it is also good, and I say sadly because it is very annoying, with the entire kit being based around clones of you with your kit and moveset that fight with you, to the point where one of the passives literally just spawns a free clone for you that gets you out of any fight for free as soon as you hit half health as a free recovery tool. You can also command your clones to just remotely fight with people sometimes, which is actually kind of funny and really good if you can use it to fight with no risk at that point. But Vision Shaper is going into the A tier for usability and viability, but this is a high A, potential S, I think. It's a really good oath, and I honestly just don't like fighting it. Make sure to subscribe. Shoutouts to Brick, Kreen, Goopka, High Card, Bacon, and Drizzy Drake Fan. If you disagree with me or think that anything should be moved up or down a tier in either usability or aesthetics, let me know down in the comments below. I like when you guys try and change my mind about stuff and make me see your new perspectives. Follow me on Twitch. I'll be playing all the Devil May Cry games pretty soon. I love you all, and goodbye.